Hello friends. We already went through, we created a EC card order project in our last video, and also I think 2 years back, I worked, we developed a project to do the JWT authentication using key. So those who haven't watched that video, please watch it. That has a lot of details about how to create the JWT authentication. So in this, we're going to do the similar coding style and everything, but we're going to create in .NET Core 3.1. Also, I mentioned in that video that we will be probably will be creating the new project which will use private public key to do the signing for the JWT authentication. That's what we're going to look into it today. So we'll create a project similar like the last video. Like we'll be having one project which is going to be auth project, which will helps to create a token. And we already have another project called the FST ECCard.order, where we use that token to authenticate, to verify that a token is valid. Then the user can able to use the order API. So I mean, going forward, so we'll be extending this project to add more roles, and it'll be like, I mean, my goal is this project will be the actual. It's going to be a very good project. Let's hope that. Anyway, we'll start this one now. Okay, so in this project, I'm gonna maybe I copy paste a few things. I'm thinking, because those, if you watch that 2 years back video that has a lot of details, I don't think I need to go through all of them in this video. I'll go very quickly for this one. Mainly we concentrate on private and public key. Okay, let's start with the creating new project. Create new project, and we'll have ASP.NET Core Web Application. Click Next, and here we'll have project name called fst.eccart.auth. Okay, so that's what our project name called, and click Create. All right, we're going to create API, create. All right, project is ready. Let's go ahead and change this to auth controller, and we'll be changing this to API/controller. Okay, we don't need this. I'll remove that, and let's go to this one. First thing we're gonna say, okay, we need a get method, and we're going to say it's a token. So auth/token, which will route token, right? And I'm gonna change this to a action result for now. Okay, and we don't need this code. All right. So from when somebody need a token, so they send us in the header, they'll be sending authorization header with the basic authentication with the username and password, and then we will get the username, password, validate the password here, and then we generate token. So those code and those things we already done one of the video. I will link that video here. For now, just copy paste some those code, similar like code, just to make it faster. All right. Okay, all right, encoding, enable this. So what we're doing here is, so we from the postman or any request we're getting from the headers, the user will be sending authorization header with the username and password. So first step, we will check that is this has the basic in front of the username password. Yes, then it's a proper authorization. If not, we'll send the request says bad request. And here we will be getting auth to basic token, and we'll remove the basic keyword, and then we'll take the remaining and we'll split it, and we'll check that this username has this authorization code has admin. The first section is admin or not, and second is password or not. If that both are matched, what we're going to create is we will generate token variable token equal to, okay, all right, so we'll be creating a method, and that'll return string, and we will be passing, this is the called something called claims. So whatever we passing it here, so we, I mean, here we just using username for the claims purpose. Um, but you can probably in our next tutorial somewhere we will be using username, probably the role. In this section we will may do something like this, um, get claims data, something like that, and then it will go to the repository dot get all details, sorry, repo dot get data by username. Anyway, similar like that. So we'll be getting all the claims data. Maybe we use it for the token authentications, token to send it to the token to create a token. So for now we'll be using only the username. All right, string username. Okay, we don't need this code. Let's comment out. Okay. So as I mentioned, in this one we're going to create private and public key. So how do we create a private and public key? Let's have that already. Let me show that. The first thing, if you have to install OpenSSL in your system, if you have Linux, there is other option easy to create it. There are many ways you can create the private and public key. This is what I'm trying to do here. I'll go to install OpenSSL, and then from OpenSSL I'm going to create RSA 248 byte private key. That's the first step we'll be doing. And then okay, so once the key is done, we'll be creating certificate key. So certificate we create public the certificate which is in 509 here. That's the main thing, major one I'm going to use. This is the key we're going to use it in our token authentication for also with the 509 certificate, and I'm putting expiration date for 1000 days. Okay, once the one is when you click the trying to create this key, it'll ask you to enter few details. I'm just entering something for now, but when you create you put proper details, sorry. All right, and facial. All right, this is where I'm going to create www.yourdomain.com. Okay, the key is ready, and the final step is creating sorry, this one. Once that done, and this is the final step, we will be creating a certificate key using the private key and public certificate. This is what will be as a when we're creating the token. This is the key we are gonna use it, and the public key we will give it to the consumer who is going to access our API to authenticate. So the P12 is the key we'll be using in our auth token provider, and then the public key is the key the other people are going to use it. Meaning the EasyCard order API will be using public key to authenticate by using our API token authentication API. Okay, that will create this. I will be entering some password test. I think I put wrong. Oh, it's good. Okay, anyway, so this will create a key for you. Once this key is created, there are two approach you can do. There are two options you can use. One, you can access that public key, private key in this. When you generate the token, you can access that key by path. Like you have the key in your C drive, so you can access through that. That's one option. The other option is you can install that key in your system. It will be going to your it will go into this section, certificate, current user, wherever you install it, that's where it's going to install it, and then you can use it from the certificate store. Probably when you're developing in your production API, that will be one of the approach they take. It's up to, depends on your company. You may keep the keys in your C drive or somewhere, or you can install it in your certificate store there, from where you can access it. So here I'll try to show both option. Let's see how it goes. The first approach we're going to take is access it from the C folder drive. Okay, so before we going further, there's one thing I forget to do it. Let's do that. We need to install the package called beer JWT. Okay, I will put beer JWT. Okay, JWT beer. All right, I'm going to install this. We need this package to create the JWT token. All right, that's done. All right, let's go to auth controller, generate token. All right, so let's start that. So first thing, 509 certificate. We're going to access the certificate X509 certificate 2. Okay, and new certificate of, I'm going to access it from my C drive. I think I have it in the prod. Let me see, where is it? Copy it from there. Okay, so I have my private key in the project key folder, and my key password is test. So if you see this here, it will ask you to enter the file name and the password. So now this is my private key file name P12, and the password is test. Okay, now we're going to create a key from this certificate. X509 security key, X509 security key equal to new security key of from certificate. Okay, so this will provide us the security key. Okay, so let's do this one. Return. I'm going to return this. just for testing purpose. .toString. Right, I hope everything is correct. Generate token, and then one thing written here is written. Okay, token. Okay, and if the user didn't send proper username password, we return bad request. Okay, that's it. Let's run this. Let's go here. So that's our order API. Okay. Going to read this. I think 44356. 356 API slash auth slash token. Okay, send. It's because we are sending wrong username and password. So let's do this basic authentication, and then we'll be sending admin and password is test. Sorry, pass. Okay. So here we got some details. It says security key ID is this, internal ID is C, something like that. So which is we don't need it anyway, but just to make sure this first topic working, we are getting some security key from the server. Okay, and all right, let's go here. The next step we're going to create actual JWT security token, which the consumer going to use it. Let's do the variable security token equal to new JWT security token and open price. What are the things we needed? We need issuer, audience, and claims and other data. Okay, let's create that. Let me stop this. Okay, first step is we need to provide the issuer. Who is the issuer? Our site is the issuer. So here I'm going to type www.errorandsolution.com. Okay, and again www. That's who is going to consume this application. Here also I'm going to put error and solution.com. And what are the other details? Next is, let's see. Oh, this is why. Let me add this. This was missing. That's what I'm not getting the suggestion box. So, okay, so now we need claims. So claims we're going to create. Claims. What I need the claims is. Let me create new claims. The claims we're going to create for just the one thing for now. Later on we'll be adding more. Not too much, but anyway, one or two things. So for now here we're going to add only the username as a claim. Okay, claim types dot name e comma, so we're going to create a username as a name claim. Okay, that's done. And then what? We need a expiring date for this token. So here I'm going to put expiring date for 20 minutes expires. Should expire in 20 minutes. Okay, date and time. Now dot add minutes 20. Okay, and final on the 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 one which we're trying to make this more secure, which is the signing credential key. Instead of just a regular, the one video which we worked through, one of the project we worked a few 2 years back, where we used security just key, like a random text. You just type the key text as a key, but here we're going to use the 509 certificate private key to create this token more secure. Okay, signing credentials is new signing credentials 509 x509 key. Okay, and then we're going to use security algorithm RSA 256 signature. Okay, that's it. So this is the main part for this to make this authentication more secure. So you see that many probably some of the companies using just basic authentication, maybe some company just using the security key, and this is the one of the other approach, but this is more secure. It's because it's using private and public keys more secure, but depends on your project situation or company. Maybe you don't want to use a security key to the provider also using, consumer has to use the public key. Maybe if you think that's not a good way to approach, you don't use it. But this is the one of the make your API more secure. There are some people giving some of the approach. I'm thinking maybe we'll be going through one of the video that rather than giving public key to the user, so what they do is they put that as another JWT key. They will have some kind of when the user say auth/jwks, they'll give you the public key or some kind of key there. So then you don't need to provide the public key. I mean, one of the advantages of that one is when you provide it via online link URL, you don't need to provide when the public key is expired. You don't need to provide them via email or email them that public key. Instead, they keep getting the public key automatically because it's in the URL. So they just refresh the URL. I mean, just get the version 1, 2, 3, so they get the new public key. So they can provide a different public for different clients, though many things we can do. Anyway, this is the same approach here. We don't use the URL, but we'll be providing the public key to the consumer. If you are working on the project internally, all of the API, I mean, you don't need to worry about it. You just have a private key in one of the auth project, and then you'll be having public key in all the other microservices. Anyway, let's go through this. So now we have a security token. Let me return this. Let's see what we're going to get. Okay, let's run this. All right, now we have algorithm details. and type JWT ticket, and all the details we have here. And this has the claim details as well, and expiration date, and who is the issuer, who is the audience, all these details. Now you have a more secure data to create a token. Now after this step, very quickly we can generate the token and return to the user. Okay, so next step is JWT security token handler. JWT security token handler equal to new token handler, and JWT security token handler, and write token, and just this token here. Okay, start this one. That's it. Token generate token project is done. Let's go through once quickly. Here we are accessing the test key from the our local folder, and then we are certificate from the local folder, and then we're creating the key from that certificate, and we are signing that credentials with that certificate. Finally, we are creating the token. That's it. So before we trying to use this, okay, let me run this. I hope it'll work. Okay, run this. Okay, this is our token. I'll valid for 20 minutes. Let me type something extra here. So if I send the username wrong username password, you'll get the bad request. Okay, all right. I think our token generate token project is done. So for anybody who wants to make your project secure, they'll be using our key public key, and then they can make their API more secure. Okay. I think I mentioned before that there is one approach is accessing through the folder. There is another approach is um, generate. You get the certificate from your local store. Okay, that's we're going to look into it. Let's see. So if you see this, I already installed certificate in my local system. So you can do the same. You can install your certificate in your local system, and then we're going to use that certificate in our project. If you get error, if you get any kind of problem accessing it, I better stick with that accessing from your folder structure. Anyway, I'll show how it works. Okay, so here we're going to command this out, and we'll say get the key from my local store. Here we're going to say copy this equal to get certificate from local store. Okay, and okay, all right. Okay, so to get from the store, we will say let's open 509 stores, and from store I need to get certificates from the from my local current user store locator. So that's where you can make a change to for now I'm using current user. You can change to other options if you're certificate in the other locations. Okay, right. And okay, and then the try catch here in only this section. Store dot open, and I can say open flags dot read only. Okay, and then I'll say I need to get all the certificates from the store, and then I'll have to filter that certificate to to by the subject, distinct subject, and then give me the certificate data. So once it's opened, now we're gonna say 509 certificate collections to get all the certificates. Go to certificates. So now it'll give you all the certificates, and in certificate collection of current certificate I need. Go to certificate collections dot find by 509 type dot find. There are some way you can find by thumbprint. There are a few options, depends on what you're trying to get, how to get your certificates. Find by time valid. So we'll just make sure this is in the valid timing, so meaning it's valid now or not. That's what we're going to check here. Okay, time dot now, comma valid only. So if you're only working on your project, so it's all depends on you how you want to protect where you're using the certificate. Here I can say false, but you can say true if you want to be very strict with the certificate and who is going to use these authentications. Okay, so anyway, so current certificate is ready. From this, what we need to get certificate by our certificate name which you created. So here my certificate, the way I'm going to get out my name, my subject name. So you get the certificate by subject name. Okay, so here I'm going to create 509 certificate collections signing certificate. That's what we need. This is the step we're going to get the actual certificate. Go to current certificate dot find by x509 dot find. There are also x509 dot subject name. There are two options. One is subject name, but another one is subject distinguished name. So if you see subject name, just by giving the subject name of your certificate, which is your name called, mine was like that error and solution, something like that. But when you provide by find by subject by distinguished name, when you provide the entire proper naming to get that, it'll give you a correct certificate. There won't be any confusion, because when you have so many certificates, there could be some mismatch, or you take the wrong certificates. So if you read this here, see here, what they're saying is searching by subject name is a less precious search. but searching by distinguished name is certificate. This is more specific search than provided by subject name. So even if you read these details, they're saying this is the one better way to search instead of you search by just by subject name. Okay, so I have already my certificate details, so I'm just copy that. Here I should say find by distinguished subject name, and then I'll put this is what my certificate. We'll see CTS. One second, hold on, let me. Okay, so here so we'll be search by find by subject by distinguished name, and then we'll provide the name of my subject name my certificate subject name. Here also I'm going to say false for now. So if you see that my CN name is www.solution.com, and the other details when I created a certificate, these are the details I provided. I hope you remember. I think we put some text here. If you see, this is the text I'm talking about. This AS and STFS and your domain.com. So those details I'm providing it here. Okay, now we have the signed certificate, and once that ready, just matter of checking that a certificate has the data or not. If the certificate is there, then return it. Okay, here I just check that if signed certificate count is there, is there any certificate with that name or not. If count is equal to there is no certificate, we return null. If there is a certificate, then we'll return that first certificate matched for this subject distinguished name. Okay, that's it. Let's if you want to see whether it's working, I'm going to use this method instead of local path. Yeah, it's already have it. Okay, let's run it. Let's hope it works. If not, I have to do something. Okay. Send. Awesome. It worked. It worked. That's good. So now this certificate, it's the private certificate is from my local store. Okay, so that also working. So anyway, there are two approach. You can use either from the store or from your local system. Okay, so that's it from this auth project. So next one, how are we going to once the token is created, we're going to use this token to authenticate our other project which we worked on, the order API. So order API going to send the bearer token to validate this token if the token is valid and if they have proper public key, then we let them you let them use. So if the certificate is valid, authenticated, then they can use the all other APIs functionality. Okay, this is our EasyCard R API. It's already working. Let's check that. Okay, and go to the postman order. It's working. Okay. Let's stop this. Okay. Order controller. Here we're going to say authorized. That's the first step you need to do. Authorize. Once this done, so now let's run this project just to confirm that the authentication should fail because we haven't implemented any authentication to be running. And so there is no public key or nothing is added, so it should fail. Let's make sure it's failing. And then we'll make it success. Okay. Send. All right. So we got the error says no authentication scheme was found, nothing challenge found, schema found. It's all error message. And we close this. Stop. In this project also, I don't think we have bearer project bearer package. Let me add this. Bearer JWT bearer install. Okay, accept. Okay, our controller. In this project, I'm going to add this authentication to verify the token is valid. I mean we create a token and then make sure it's valid or not to use this order API after authorized. After this the token is validated, and then we let them use it, order API. So we're gonna add it in the startup code right here. Let's those who already watched the other video, the same concept we're gonna use it here. The only difference is the certificate section. Since we already went through the certificate section, I'm going to copy that line. Okay, so this is same thing what we did for other project. There's no difference. Only difference is instead of private key, we're going to say public key. That's the one difference. So the key is going to be different key, and remaining is same. So how you're going to get that certificate? So in the same way, you can instead of getting it from the folder, you can access from your local store. That also you can do it here. Okay, so once this done, the next step is service dot add authentication, and we're going to say I need a JWT bearer defaults dot authentication scheme, and then I'll say add JWT bearer, and we will say there are options. Okay, here we're going to say what are the options. So this is where we're going to tell that I need to this is the token validation parameters. So this is where we're going to provide all the validation details, like so I'll be telling that I'm the issuer, is my issuer name is this, my audience name is this, and then this is my public key. Please validate and confirm I am good to go. I'm good to go or not. So here we can say options dot validation parameter, so token validation parameters equal to new token validation parameter, and we'll say validate issuer, so that we need to validate true, and then validate audience equal to true, and then we're gonna say my validate audience is www. Here you can have more than one valid audiences, but we're going to use only one audience for now. So when you work on the bigger project, there are many things we can do to make this application more secure, more different way to approach. There are two things. One of the things I can mention here is you can have the audience. The audience, what is the audience? So when you're working on internal project, I think if you have one single audience, it's okay maybe. But when you two different projects, like one is admin project, one is some other project, so then you can have a two different audience in your token generator project. There you can say even the audience is A, then should work. Audiences B also should work. So you can have a different type of different audience. Anyway, here we're going to say our audience which we created in the when we create a token project, where we had audiences called where and solution.com, and here we'll say issuer is equal to I'll copy this. Okay, all right, that's done. And then we'll say issuer signing key. That's where we're going to say that we need a X509 security key. That's a public key. Oh, what is that? Here we'll say validate audience. In the token generator project, where we can have more than one audience, probably you'll have it in the string. When this trying to validate, that time we'll check that if that's audience in this concatenation string or not. If that that contains in that string, then yes, that audience is valid. So anyway, those things we can do probably in one of the other video if needed. Anyway, so here we have audience, validate issuer is true, and make sure these two are correct. and to validate, and then we provide the key here. All right, I think that's it from in this. Well, token authentication. Okay, all right. It's here going to validate. Let me run this and see what will happen. Okay, where it's running, go to this, send. 401 unauthorized. That's, we are getting the first step because of we are not even sending the token here. Okay, let's send this token. We'll say bearer token, and here we go and generate the new token. Okay, so before we let's okay, let's run the auth token to get the new token. Okay, let's copy this token and then we pass here. Okay, once that done, will be sent again. It's 401 authorized. Let's check console. Probably the same error. Let's see. What does it say? It's the bearer token and show log unauthorized. Okay. So the error says invalid token. So error description. Anyway, thought I'd check that. The Postman console is really good. I mean, it's, you can use any other application to send to check your API, but this new console is really cool that I can find what the issue is. So here it says actually it's 401 as a user we're getting, but if you go to the console, it says error invalid token. Error description is the issuer www.errorandsolution.com is invalid. Looks like we have messed up with issuer data. Let's go and check that. Let me check startup. Go here, issuer. So that's where the problem. So we, okay, anyway, that's good thing we got error. See here, when some other issuer who's trying to send to us and they get the error because that's not the proper issuer. So when you creating in your project, you may not even have this www.error-solution. Probably you'll have in something like this, some random text or GUID or something like that. So which will be more, even more secure, because then other user who are trying to use your token authentication, they don't, even if they try, I mean, they don't get they get all this username and password, but I mean, but still somehow they got it and somehow got through it. But if they have a wrong valid issuer, then still it won't work. Okay, so let's see, we now got the proper issuer name. Let's see if this works. Anyway, console will help us if there is issue. Send. again is unauthorized. Okay, let's see the console. For 0 unauthorized. Let me, where's the console? Oh, it has details here too. Issue error runs. Oh, see, I always put some spelling mistake. That's I'm sorry. I thought the WW was the issues. That's not the only issue here. The next issue is spelling mistake. Okay, let's fix the error and solution. I don't think there is one thing we missed it. So that's what it's trying to say. So we missed here validate issuer signing key equal to true, which we needed, which was missing. That might be the reason it's failing. Okay, let's run this first, and we will. Okay. Sent. Again, unauthorized. View. So Postman console. I'm still thinking there could be error. Let's see. Again, the same error. Error and oh, that's what I thought. It's a solution. Okay, there. This is where. Anyway, that we keep thinking that other one was issue. The issue was the still spelling mistake. I see the SOLUTI solution spelling is wrong in the token project. I think. Let me open the token project. Let me verify here. Better what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this error and solution and put it in our stop this project. Let's stop this auth project, and then let's go to error and solutions. This is where the problem. Let's see, this is the issue. It's easy. Okay, so good. We're glad we got this. I can say it's a good thing because we're going through all the error and fixing. So here we have error and solution is a spelling mistake. So here I put here right and somehow I got it wrong here. So let's paste this proper spelling. Okay, error and solution, and run this. We will be creating token again. Okay, Postman, and let's create the token again. Copy this. And paste here. So we created a new token, and I copied the token and put it in the order API and sent. Oh, sorry, I haven't started the order API. Let me start the order API. Okay, let's run. again unauthorized. Okay, so Postman console, why error again? Now what does it says? Oh, okay. Now first run, oh, sorry, let me run again. Let me create the token again. Control copy, send, first row unauthorized, view Postman console. Okay, authorization category is this, and unable to verify the signature. So the next error we're getting is called unable to verify the signature. Somewhere I missed something. Let me check this again. Auth project signature key is all correct, and so token is correct. Those things are correct. Generate token is fine. We're using the certificate. That's all good. And then we check the order API is here. Certificate is fine, and options is fine. The parameters, all parameters correct. Still the certificate is correct. Validate issuer signing key, valid audience, valid issuer issue signing key, which is certificate key. All right. Okay, we're getting error again. I think I'm missing the use authentication. So that's the one step I missed it. So all things that I'm thinking that might be the issues. Let's stop this, and we should say use authentication. That was missing. Yes. Anyway, this good thing. The good it's quickly we figured out, but I was a little worried that there is some issue with my certificate. But I think the certificate is fine. The error was talking about there was issue with that authentication part. Issue the not validating properly. I'm thinking this is might be the issue. So let's see app dot use authentication. Okay, let's run again. Okay, let's run send. Perfect, it worked, and awesome, great. So we went through a few issues. Anyway, it's a good learning thing. Okay, so then we had an issue with that issuer key. That's the one. So we already went through a few struggle, but one of the issue was the issuer signing key was problem, and we had a spelling mistake. And the next one was it was missing the authentications. That was another issue. This is the one of the things I was missing, and this is you should be providing this too. Anyway, so it's good. It's working. Let's quickly go through one more thing before we stop this. Um, um, there's sometime you are unknowingly you might be entered, which it happened to me. It's happened to me before. Somehow you put it in this one. and while you're somehow you put it here, or somehow it's happened to be. Anyway, so when you're running, it'll run, the project will run, but you'll get some error. Let me show the error message. Okay. Let's see. So here we're getting the error message with the authorization metadata, but middleware was not found that about support authorization and in the application startup code. So here it says configure application startup by adding app user authorization inside the call configure in the application startup code. This is where the main line. Author must appear between routing and endpoints. Somehow this has somehow you missed it, or you typed before that. This kind of error occurs sometimes if you're running in production. You may not even see this error message properly. Anyways, just wanted to tell that to make sure this app dot use authorization should be in between US routing and US endpoints. Okay. That's all today. Thanks for watching. That's we'll go further with the next project with the more different details. All right, thanks for watching. And I know I went through some of the struggle in between. I'm sorry for that. I didn't expect that, but it's good. We learned something from there too. Thanks for watching.